So recently I had this small epiphany and I wanted to shine some light on it like I usually do. And this small, tiny, minuscule little thought of mine came to me when I watched some of Alfred Hitchcock's movies for the first time. And if you don't know who Alfred Hitchcock is, I don't really blame you. How old are you? 50? Mr. Hitchcock here was known to be the master of horror and suspense back in his day, and he still is regarded as one by many. His most famous work definitely has to be 1960's Psycho, because it was the first movie in the 60s to ever show a toilet on the big screen. But we're not here to talk about toilets and psychopaths. That's a topic for another day. We're here to talk about 1954's Rear Window. Is about this handsome professional photographer who, after an accident that led to him breaking his legs, he's now left to recover in his boring apartment with nothing but a telephoto camera to spy on his neighbors. Oh yeah, and he might have spied on a potential murder. What I love most about this movie is how stuck in place the camera is. And yes, it does the usual pan and zoom, and it uses those to its uttermost potential. But the camera is always in one place and one place only, and that's the apartment. This movie gives off such a surreal feeling of anxiety, the inability to do anything, and the vulnerability that comes with it. This movie is the definition of a simple story used to its highest potential. It's small and grounded, yet still feels more alive than most movies we have today. Modern blockbusters all use massive green screen sound stages, big casts and crews, and stories that rely on how wild and extreme it can be, or build up to the next cinematic universe, rather than trying to make the best out of a simple yet interesting idea. Now let's use lemons for an example. Rear Window squeezes all the juice out of the lemon, giving us this full, tasty glass of lemonade, while modern Hollywood barely squeezes any juice out of the lemon, throws the lemon away, gives us a big glass with barely any lemonade in it, right? And are still producing more lemons. They take quantity over quality, that's what I'm trying to say here, okay?
Unacceptable!
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every modern movie is bad and let's go back to the 50s like I know anything about the 50s, but you have to admit that movies aren't as mainstream anymore. Not everybody talks about movies, not everybody respects the art form anymore. And the only people who talk about movies nowadays are either aspiring filmmakers or Marvel stans, both bad to varying degrees. And I feel like this lack of widespread knowledge or even respect for movies comes from the cookie-cutter stories we get. We let basic, boring, formulaic movies pass because who gives a shit? And then we complain that they don't make movies like they used to. We tolerate the bad things, but then in the long run we start complaining about the bad things. Like Hitchcock put all the impressive work and attention to detail behind the camera, giving us these intricate shots that you feel the passion oozing, you feel the decision making behind every shot.